Hello, guys. Ahlan, ahlan, ahlan. Welcome to this episode of Listen, Habibi. Guys, we've gotten back to the point where it's just me on this new episode. So, this is going to be season 3, and it's going to be called Adelene because this is where we're going to start to get to know me. We're going to have like these personal breakthrough episodes where honestly, I either feel like there's something I want to talk about or, I want to mix it up and the next guest speaker is going to be a totally different topic. So, welcome to this new episode and this new take where it's just me, myself, and I talking about the new year and college and reflecting on the last year and getting you guys all hyped up for what's to come. So, sit back and chill and give it a listen. Habibi, So I hope everybody had amazing holidays with their families. I hope everyone was happy and healthy and stayed safe. It is so crazy to think that it's actually 2021 right now. Like, I don't know about you guys, but 2020 was a complete blur. But at the same time, it was like a train that hit me in the face. And reflecting back on it, it seems really crazy to think that a year has passed from the point where we thought, the next year was going to be completely normal. Like last January, we were in completely different mental spaces. Just to be here today, healthy and alive, is such a blessing in itself. And I'm really thankful for everything that's happened to me this past year, because without those experiences and without going through those ups and downs that we all went through for sure, I don't think life would be the same. I don't think I would be the same woman, to be very honest. So 2020, let's talk about 2020. We started the year off, even a little bit before 2020. Life was life, I'll explain to you guys where I was. So at that point, I had just come back from Lebanon, from spending my 2019 summer in Lebanon, and I walked right into senior year. And senior year, man, oh my God. So I was in all of the highest classes that I could be in and was really focusing on applying to colleges while also balancing a job, maintaining family responsibilities. I ran a club by myself and I would go to the gym, to maintain my health. And it was very challenging senior year, extremely challenging. Mind you, while I was still, studying for the SAT, figuring out how many supplement essays I could possibly write, man, it was insanity. Looking back, it was challenging. I really sit down and I'm like, I got through that. Oh my God. How did I do it? I don't know. I had gone through some struggles over the summer with some friendships, which I think happens to everyone in high school. But high school senior year specifically was difficult. And as we're walking into 2020, I'm faced with lots of social pressure and anxiety of going to school and some I don't even want to get negative with you guys, but I always want to be real. Senior year tested me from every angle. It tested me faithfully, academically, socially, mentally, spiritually, just keeping my hopes up. I lost a lot of friends and I had a lot of pressures and there was lots of drama and Lebanon wasn't doing great and my parents and my family, we're all trying to pull everything together for the new year, and 2020 rolls around. At this point, we've already been in revolutions with Lebanon and trying to fight for the thawra that we had, and we were hosting protests in the city of Boston, and at this point, we're going into 2020, it's the new year, and all I remember is honestly, everyone freaking out about World War III, Kobe dying, that was, the beginning for me. That was when things were starting, and I remember, I was still planning for events for summer travels, for colleges. College was a huge one for me. At that point, I ended up applying to like 14 schools. And I just remember at the top of the year, like, I'm still like meeting those deadlines. I had like those Ivy Leagues on the first and the second of the year. And, none of us knew what was coming. None of us knew what was coming. And it was just so much pressure, so much pressure. All I remember, like my last days of high school. So I was a student journalist, and we participated in something called STN, which was like the Student Television Network conference. It was like this huge conference, and we would go and compete in a different state. I had gone to Seattle the year before, and we were supposed to go to DC. And I remember just like prepping for it and working my butt off. I got like a scholarship to go, thank God. Otherwise, I was not going to be able to go. And there was always drama for that, of course, as well. But I ended up getting the means to go, and it was maybe the day of. It was the day of. I was at the gym, literally, just trying to blow off some steam before this trip. We were going to take the bus down, me and my class of journalism students. And I remember they were like, it's canceled. Like, we can't anymore. This coronavirus, it's real. Like, it's here. We need to cancel everything. And I had friends from Texas that I had met at a previous summit already go down there, fly down there, like start prepping for competition and for all the challenges they had. And then they were like, what? It's been canceled? And that was the start of the end. It was the start of the end of our school year. And then I remember going to school the next day, and everyone was like, oh my God, we're so sorry, your trip got canceled, whatever. It was kind of crazy because it was like, okay, we're in the hype of like, okay, prom dress shopping, like kind of still don't know where we're going to school yet next year. Focusing on AP exams, on homework assignments. And we were like, okay, a week break, 2 weeks break, this is going to be great. All of the surrounding schools were closing down. We were like, oh my God, finally, just a breather. And we never went back to school. Which, to be honest, for me was a blessing in disguise because I was having one of the worst academic years of my life. Not that I wasn't doing academically well, but I just hated going to school. I didn't want to go and be a part of that community. And I know maybe a couple of you listeners may have gone to school with me or currently go to my old high school, but I struggled a lot with the social scene, and towards the end of senior year, I was just done. I was just completely done. And I definitely had mornings in 2020 where it was really hard to wake up before COVID even came around. And I don't know, man. It's those days where you just have to push yourself and remind yourself of what your mission is and what you stand for. And at the end of the day, regardless of what people think about you or say about you or the way that they treat you, you know who you are, and the people that really love you will treat you the way that you deserve. So getting over that hurdle was one in itself, but finding out that senior year was over was also difficult, because if you're anyone like me, you have a major fear of time and you want to control life and its schedules and its plans, and you just want to just have some sort of grasp on really something that you'll never be able to grasp or you'll never be able to control. So I had everything planned. I was like, okay, prom, pull it together. You're going to look beautiful. Go. I never got a prom. We didn't have junior prom at my school, and my parents wouldn't let me go to all the proms that I got asked to as an underclassman or even as a junior. And I was excited, but it got shut down, and that was okay. It's all right. Then we are waiting on graduation. Like, what's happening with graduation? It was literally the biggest mess. It was the biggest mess. We were online, then we were not online, then it was a joke. It was really a joke. No one knew what was going on. No one knew. Then things start to calm down a little bit, and I'm starting to get closer with my family and spend more time. I even did some exploring in the city, where it was honestly the craziest thing, just driving around and seeing nobody in the streets. It was really surreal, really surreal. And I know we'll probably never get moments like that again in our lives, so telling this story to our kids is going to be interesting. But even throughout that, we eventually came to graduation. I graduated, and summer began, and honestly, it was one of the best summers of my life. It was a good summer. For the restrictions that we had and the conditions we were put in, we definitely made the most of the people around us, our close friends and our close family. And we had bonfires, we had little get-togethers where we could just like tell stories all night and enjoy each other's company. We got closer with people. Friendships continued to take a hit, but it's okay. Trial and tribulation, right? And I picked up more time in the books. I read a little bit more. I tried exercise from home. It was interesting. I'm not going to make it sound like it was all perfect, because it wasn't. I went through a really difficult mental struggle at the beginning of it all, because it just wasn't an easy year. It wasn't. And again, I'm okay, and thank God I'm okay. Nothing really major is wrong with me, and we're all alive and healthy, but I had been planning this like stage of life, this like transition into college, into, womanhood, honestly, just like going and finding that independent way of life where you don't have like these little negative people or these little negative forces pulling you down around you, and you can just focus on you and who you are and thrive because you're the one driving your own success. And it all went up into the air. And suddenly, like, we're waking up late. We don't really have anything to work for. I can't work. I can't have a job. I can't go to the gym. I can't. And I felt like all of my work at school, all of my hours of volunteer work, of dedication, of studying, of everything was just like shriveling up. And I was just going crazy. I was going crazy. And getting over that little mental health moment of finding that motivation was challenging, but we kept going. Soon enough, I did hear back from BU, and I got into BU, and I heard that the deal that I got to go to BU, in order to study abroad as a freshman, I had to take the first semester off and study during the spring semester and continue on in London during the next summer, which is actually this summer of 2021. That within itself was such a curveball, because I wasn't anticipating taking that time off. And at this point, I was like, okay, we're in COVID. What is that going to look like? I'm like, it's got to be over by then, right? Like, I can plan. And BU ended up being the best route for me to take. I got a full scholarship. I was going to stay home. They had the program that I was looking for, and it was really just a blessing from God. The way things worked out was a blessing from God, because I literally bent over backwards in application season, and BU sort of saw me for who I was and wanted to accept me and offer me literally the biggest prize of my life. Is no debt. So insane, so crazy, especially coming from a family of my background, and seeing like coming from nothing up is like handing someone no debt is like, it's amazing. It's really, truly amazing, and I need to appreciate it even more than I do. So the journey of finding out what to do with my semester off was in itself something crazy. At first, I was like, okay, I got some connections. Let's sign up for some internships. I was going to work at an American embassy abroad through the State Department. And I was like, okay, we can do this. Like, let's, email the people sign up, applications, all that good stuff. State Department shut everything down. I was like, oh, okay. Then my second option was to do a really cool thing called semester at sea. And it was really just some time to study at sea in those 100 days that you get off. And they take you basically on a tour to like 8 or 9 countries, and you're studying with a bunch of I think there's 300 to 400 kids on deck. And it got canceled. I was like, ugh. I really wanted to travel with this time off. I didn't know what I was going to do with it in the first place, but I was like, okay, maybe I could grow. And it got canceled, so it ended up working out that I could work for my local government and learn so much. I ended up learning so much, and we'll get into that. So the summer ended, and my girlfriends went to school. My closest friends, they all went to school. And they, they moved on to this next stage of life that I really so badly wanted to be in. And I started to work, and I worked full time. I ended up picking up 4 jobs. So I was working for my local government full time, 5 days a week. Then I was babysitting once a week, and I was doing some photography gigs on the side in addition to being a tutor. I was tutoring a couple of people and helping them apply to college. And I was working, and I was going to the gym, and I was getting my life sort of intact, and I kind of secluded myself a lot from the social scene and from my friends even because, when you're going so fast and everyone's doing their own thing, it's hard. But my semester off taught me a lot. It taught me about work ethic. It taught me about resilience even. When you feel like, you've been doing nothing for so long, like how to get back into it, how to remember, get that motivation back. And just honestly, bottom line from the lessons that I learned working in a government at a time like this. And what I mean by a time like this is COVID-19 taking over, everything we know as it was, in addition to the 2020 election. And politics and the social scene of our society. And it was challenging. I started to self-reflect a lot more about, what it takes to really be a leader and what it takes to really listen to those who need you and really listen to those who may not know where you come from, but you have the obligation to learn about where they're coming from, because at the end of the day, you want to all work together and make love and peace. And frankly, be American together. COVID was its own thing, but I actually ran the election in my town, and we're a relatively big town. It's like a medium size. We're not a city, but I learned a lot. You have to figure out, mail-in ballots to early voting to regular voting. I counted so many ballots, and I got paper cuts and bruises on my hands, and there were really late nights that we had to stay back and count using the ballot machine, and even just really dealing with people. I would see literally thousands of people in a week to help them vote, and just seeing the scale of people and the range of people. It was very interesting. And from those people, I would hear complaints about their modern day society and their modern country, but also I would hear people helping one another as well and coming together in such a weird time as well. So it was weird. I don't even know how else to describe it. I so badly don't want to bring up politics. I so badly don't want to bring up anything that's could be divisive, but my political views are ones that a lot of people like to argue with me about, which I'm always up for an argument, do not get me wrong. But something that I learned in the last couple of months is that it's hard for people to really listen, and me included. My goals are to learn to listen. And if you remember my first episode, I talked about how this podcast is really made for me to listen, to give myself a voice and others a voice. Yes, of course. But I like to listen to others and learn and talk. And there was a lot of hate this year. There was. And I, for one, never want to preach hate. And I never want to preach anything but love and understanding. But I also believe in strength and intelligence and unity and determination and patriotism. I believe in all of it. I believe in being grateful and thankful for where you come from, but at the same time, finding every ounce of energy within yourself to fight for a better reality, to fight for a better nation. Where things get sticky is where we don't sit down and just listen and be loving and honest and understanding and be compliant, like listen to one another, be empathetic. Empathetic is probably my favorite word. Just sit down and feel with others, you know? And I did a lot of self-reflection in these months, and I did a lot of listening, and I learned a lot. And I got hurt, and I got anxious, and I got stressed, and I got angry, and I sat down and I said, you know what? At least I can feel all these emotions and know that at the end of the day, if I want to make a change, I can. I can have an opinion. I can have a voice. I can talk to this person about where they stand on the spectrum. For me, I align myself in the middle. Politically speaking, of course. I'm registered independent. And I've realized that a lot of our Generation Z, that being, will come to agree on most things once they sit down and talk and have conversation. And it's difficult to even align yourself with one side during these weird times of political tribulation in terms of news even. Being a journalism student growing through high school, we were taught to watch both sources. We were taught to watch all 15, 20, 30, 40 sources and come up with what we believe is right. And we need to fact check all of our facts and all of this craziness that I found that even my closest friends or people that I thought were friends on even social media, who honestly half the time you haven't even met, but a lot of us threw stones instead of listened. We didn't really just sit there and listen, and a lot of us assumed and stuff, and it's hard because I know I want to be a politician one day. I know I want to work in government and have an impact on people. But at the same time, it's like I'm afraid to even say about what I feel politically because people will disagree, and instead of listening to work or to even understand, they will just shut you out or get angry or fight you until they think they're right. When in reality, maybe we're both right or we're both wrong. Finding that peace was difficult. And it still is difficult for me every day. I tend to lean right economically and left socially. And a lot of people have a difficult time with understanding my views because it's not one or the other. I get into a lot of tough places where even I don't even like discussing it with people that aren't willing to really listen, because I feel like why should I? Chances are you're going to change your opinion of me without even really understanding where I come from and why I believe in what I believe. Why should I? It creates more division than unity. And I hope that our generation can change that. And I hope that future administrations can change that, because division is an issue. And I will say that about the current situation is that everyone is just on to one another. We're at each other's necks, man. Seriously. And this week was really tough too with the news cycle. I guess I will say one thing. One thing that really bothered me this week was people relating our situation to a third world country and our violences that we went through and our protests that we went through, not only just in the recent weeks, but over the past year too. And I didn't think it would get to this point, and I don't want it to ever get to that point, but being in a third world country is nothing like living here. It isn't. It is so far from it. And a lot of the people have to leave this country in order to realize that we are so far from a third world country. We are so far from being stripped of every single right you've ever had. We are so far from not even having water to drink or trash to be picked up. We are so far from not even having the right to vote or to speak or to drive a vehicle, okay? That is not us, and that will never be us. So 2020 comes to a close, and I've learned lessons. I've grown closer with my family. I've reflected upon myself some more. I've lost a little bit of stability when it came to momentum of speed and motivation. And it's okay. I realize that it's important to take those stops, to take those breaks and just breathe. Because without them, are we human? Are we? Do you remember the last time you picked up a book to read for pleasure? Do you? Have you ever read poetry? Have you ever just listened to music and cried? Have you ever drawn or just gone on an adventure? When was the last time you prayed? If you believe. When was the last time you prayed? These are the things that I realized. Telling the people around you that you love them, because you don't know when they're going to leave. You don't know what's going to break down. That's what I realized this year. And moving into this next year, I hope it is so much better. I have some serious goals for 2021. Among them is obviously succeeding academically, pursuing my dreams, traveling, God willing, making real strides in the woman that I want to become, that I'm deemed to become. And those are all great. You know, going to the gym, hitting that body of strength that I'm going for, succeeding in school, getting great grades, financially making it to the next stage of life where maybe I'm ready to invest in something, or growing closer to God. Like, these are all great things, but I also hope that I become a better human to others as well. And I hope that I grow through maturity, through working with others, through understanding others better. And I hope that overall I become happier in who I am as a woman and where I'm at with my dreams. You know, earlier today I was sitting down, I was actually packing, which I'm going to get into. I was packing because I'll be moving into college in a week from today. Actually, it's coming so fast. It really is. And I came across a personal anthology, which I was assigned to write my senior year in my AP English class. And I wrote this letter to myself last year. It was in December of 2019. And it read that you're not in a good place right now. It seems like everything is just clouded. Snap out of it, because you have so much within you to keep pushing. Don't let it get to you. Keep going, keep going. I hope that when you read this, you're happier. I hope that when you read this, you are satisfied and have mercy with yourself and are in such a better place, because you deserve it. And I remember I wrote, love the people you have around you for me. Kiss the Janeds. Kiss your family members. Those letters that you write to yourself, like, I cried. I cried because I had no idea what was coming. I didn't know. 2020 was going to be like that. And I didn't know everything I thought was going to work out the way I had planned was just going to blow up. But I also didn't know I would have had the experiences that I did. The beautiful relationships I created, the adventures, the memories, the self-growth. I didn't know. I didn't. "2021 will be a year for the books. Everyone says it, I know it, but I think we have a lot to come out of this year. And I hope we come together. I do. Because the power in numbers, the power in love and unity and pride of being American first and being brothers and sisters first, there's nothing like it. And we have so much more to gain that way. I hope to learn and to go into university strong and determined and driven and just perseverant. Anything thrown my way, I'm going to face it. So to talk about what's coming up for me now. So it's currently Sunday night, and I usually like to record these things on Saturday, so I have some time to edit, drop some music in, the usual. But I am getting my wisdom teeth pulled tomorrow. So I decided to record today and to just sort of reflect on 2020, which I did. Also talk about 2021. And also just let you guys know that everything is gonna be okay. Sometimes I just talk to myself about it. I'm really terrified of time and death. Those are my two biggest fears, by the way. New Year is never a great time for me. Neither is my birthday, to be honest. It's just flying by, life. I oftentimes find myself just looking up to the stars and wondering why we're here. Why each one of us ended up being alive during this time, during this, what it is we're supposed to do here. With everything racing so fast, it really means the world to settle down, to breathe, and to just say, it's going to be okay. Time is flying, but it is going to be okay. So I am moving into college next week. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. It's not even like I'm nervous because, I think things are going to go wrong. It's more of I'm not ready for this. I have been planning for this transition for the last 5 years of my life, studying my butt off, planning, dreaming about what it would look like to move into school and let me tell you, it didn't look anything like this picture that we have painted right now, but it's finally happening, and I'll be moving in on Sunday to Boston University, and my classes will start on the following Monday. And it's finally happening. I'm finally going to be given the opportunity to truly pursue everything that I love and to give a full effort into my studies and to becoming everything that I dream of being. I'm going to be studying Arabic. I'm going to be learning about international relations and other cultures and history and languages. And I'm going to be meeting people from all over the world, really pushing myself to break barriers, to question why I think the way I think and whether or not it's correct or not. And to pursue everything professionally that I've ever wanted to. Maybe I'll get a really cool internship, or maybe I will travel. And that is the plan, actually. I'm supposed to be going to London this summer, but only God knows what's going to happen. So I guess I am excited. I am excited. I am truly, truly, truly blessed. And I'm sure I'm gonna come back to you guys with so many stories. Like, I'm gonna have the most wild stories and the most wild characters to bring to you with this new journey. And I'm going to keep up with it during school. Hopefully, every Tuesday you guys will have an episode. And I'll take you with me. I'll show you the journey and guide you through all of the things that I have to face in Boston as a Lebanese girl, as a student. I'm making strides by going to school, by the way, you know. No one in my family's ever dormed. No one's ever really moved out or gotten a full scholarship or gone to such a university as BU. So I have big dreams to fill. For the upcoming episodes, I will be planning some guests and getting super excited with this new transition of my life and bringing in that new perspective, that new energy. I am super excited, though, to try out this new idea that I have where I'm going to open up the floor to you guys to give me questions. And I'll have this solo episode where I'm going to answer all of your questions and give you my true and honest input. I swear and I vow by it. And it's going to be interesting, so please stick around. Let me know what you think. And I hope that you guys have the most amazing week. And truly, truly, truly remember that you are fighters and warriors and determined people that will get to whatever goal you're going for. I know it, and I'm so, so happy to be a part of it. Habibi, so until next Tuesday, my loves, my Habibis, goodbye, and I will see you soon. I will speak to you soon. Bye, guys.